You know those people who you go over to their house, looks pretty clean. You're like, oh, you got a nice place. And then they say, don't look in the closet. That's me. I'm the problem. I will say, like, I have bits and bobs. I'm a pile person, personally. There's always mini piles of whatever nonsense I'm getting into. Lately, it's driving me absolutely bonkers. Right now, you may be looking at my space being like, that's pretty good, Kayla, pretty good. Yeah, there's a pile right there. There's a pile right there. There's a pile on my bed. You can't see it this weekend. I'm gonna start small. My issue is every single time I go to clean, I shoot for the stars. I'm like, I'm gonna clean the whole apartment. We're gonna tackle every closet. We're gonna tackle all the little random knickknacks. And this weekend, we're starting small but big at the same time, because we're just gonna be tackling the bedroom office space, but in the bedroom office space is the closet of doom. There's also that closet, but that just has dirty laundry in it. This closet, we'll just. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We will be reading books. Welcome to spring cleaning with Kayla. It's going to be great. I was just looking at the audiobooks that I have checked out on Libby, and you know what audiobook I have currently checked out that would actually be perfect? Yesteryear by Caro Burke. Let me tell you guys what this book is about, shall I? My name was Natalie Heller Mills, and I was perfect at being alive. Natalie lives a traditional lifestyle. Her charming farmhouse is rustic, her husband a handsome cowboy, her 6 children, each more delightful than the last. So what if there are nannies and producers behind the scenes? Her kitchen hiding industrial-grade fridges and ovens, her husband the heir to a political dynasty. What Natalie's followers, all 8 million of them, don't know won't hurt them. And the angry woman, the privileged Ivy League coastal elite haters who call her an anti-feminist iconoclast, they're sick with jealousy because Natalie isn't simply living the good life, she's living the ideal, and just so happens to be building an empire from it. Until one morning she wakes up in a life that isn't hers. Her home, her husband, her children, they're all familiar, but something's off. Her kitchen is warmed by a sputtering fire rather than electricity, and her soft-handed husband is suddenly a competent farmer? Just yesterday, Natalie was curating photos of homemade jam for her Instagram, and now she's expected to haul firewood and hand wash clothes until her fingers bleed. Has she become the unwitting star of a ruthless reality show? Could it really be time travel? Is she being tested by God? By Satan? When Natalie suffers a brutal injury in the woods, she realizes 2 things. This is not her beautiful life, and she must escape by any means necessary. Oh yes, this is perfect for a weekend of cleaning. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Because it's already given Baudette to book every 3 days, perhaps, so the whole film ravioli a quail, potatoes. Stressful listening to her speak. We learned that about her. We didn't we? Of the 1950s race. Seen a lot of these girls. Doilies everywhere. Doilies.
I need y'all to listen to this tomfoolery.
Thank you for watching over the farm animals, Lord. And thank you for helping us pass 5 million on Instagram this week. We're only a few souls away from 1 million on YouTube, Lord. It's through your will and your will alone that I have reached so many hearts and minds. It's in your name that I work to spread your truth.
That's the pleasure we're gonna have this week. I'm so excited. Oh my god, y'all, this book is... I'm discovering that I love an unlikable character, specifically an unlikable female character. There's something so sinister and snarky about unlikable female characters. I've met a few of them in my reading years. My favorite one is Juniper Song from Yellowface. I think she's my favorite unlikable character. But this one, this one, she could potentially beat out June. The thing I found endearing about June from Yellowface is that there were moments where I understood where she was coming from, as horrible of a person as she was, and as unlikable of a person that she was. She was so malicious and vindictive and selfish, but she still had just slivers of moments where I understood where she was coming from. And I think Natalie could be that same type of character. Because right off the rip, you know you don't like her. Oh, she's just so full of herself. She is holier than thou. She is such a walking contradiction of, oh, my children, they'll never have screen time. They'll never be on social media themselves, but I will share their private, personal details and information for millions of people to consume, but they themselves will never know. Disgusting. Oh, I'm so intrigued. This is my problem. I start audiobooks and then I'm like, I need the physical copy, like for myself, that I can physically hold and scribble in, because the way I want to scribble in this book right now, we might need to go buy this ASAP. It's independent bookstore weekend day this weekend, so I might brave the storms and try and pick up Yesteryear. I was gonna buy one online, but I was just like, I'll pop out of the house. But I think some supernatural shit's going down, because we all know in this book that it's actually funny, because part 1 was noted as the past and is talking about like current day 2000 whatever this book is taking place, and then it goes to part 2 and it says it's present, but present is back in the 1800s. But she's having this recollection of when they first bought their house, and when they first bought their house they wanted to renovate it, but they wanted to renovate it to look like it literally was from the 1800s. I mean, the house itself was from the 1800s, but had been remodeled to be more modern. And now they want it to be remodeled to look like it's from the 1800s. There was one line where it was like, I want the floorboards to look like they were literally ripped out of the earth and slapped into the something or other. You know, you really got a sense of what this place was getting turned into. And the architect, whatever, the dude who was helping them with the renovations, he was all like, do you want the toilets inside or do you want them outside? But he was like, let's build you a time machine. Did they actually build a time machine? A part of me is like, yeah, but they've also lived in the house for a certain period of time. I don't know. But did they really build a time machine? Guess we'll figure it out. Now you may be wondering, Kayla, you've been doing a lot of yapping about this book, but you haven't done much cleaning. The reason for that is because I did start filming on a Wednesday, and fun fact, I have a full-time job. And once I'm done with my full-time job, I like to become one with my furniture. So unless I'm editing a video or filming a video, I'm not doing much else after work. With that noted, today after work, or maybe on my lunch break, I will be tackling the random hodgepodge piles that I was pointing out yesterday. I guess I gotta give a part 2 of my confessions. Oh, I'm so thrown. I don't know what to do but to give you part 2 of my confessions. My confessions is that I did not clean yesterday. I know. I got off of work and I became one with the furniture. However, this morning, I'm not going to tackle like all the million of piles I have, because, I mean, I still have to work this morning. I think we can definitely tackle my desk, because that's kind of always a point of issue. I always just have all these little random bits and bobs spread all over. So let me show you what the desk is looking like currently, okay? So this is what we're working with. We got journals, wallets, lip gloss, glasses, drinks, random bits and bobs. You know, it's like a lot of this stuff makes sense being on the desk, but at the same time, a lot of it just, it needs to be in like a condensed situation. That's part 1 of my confessions. Got my planner. Is this the notebook I'm writing in? It is the notebook I'm writing in. I have like these little, like I think they're A5 or A6 notebooks. I always forget. but I found ones in stone paper. If you've never written on stone paper, may I recommend giving it a whirl. I think it is the most pleasurable experience. Like, the one downfall about stone paper is it's kind of expensive, but I love stone paper. So anytime I see a notebook with stone paper in it, I need it. I actually move everything off the desk for now, since we're gonna be wiping it down. Don't need this headband over here. This is my little remote for my walking pad, and I usually have it tucked in here. We're getting to my like usual issue is where when I go and take a bunch of stuff off of something, because I know I'm gonna wipe it down or something like that, I then just kind of leave that pile wherever I set the pile. We aren't doing that today. I know what you might be thinking. Kayla, you have a desk mat. Why do you also have a mouse pad? I don't know what it is about this desk mat in particular. I've had a few different desk mats. This is the first one where my mouse does not track, like it skips around when I use it. So, although I kind of want a new mouse pad. I kind of want to get like a little book stand and have maybe a book and some journals right here. Is that a vibe? Something like that. That's cute. Yeah. Is it too congested? Maybe. I just got back from the gym. I haven't had my coffee yet. I need to take a shower, but I got Yesteryear. We are going to do a big tackle of all my random piles today. We might even start to tackle the closet of doom today. Let's make some coffee and get cleaning. I just finished chapter 15 of Yesteryear, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of missing the social media influencer part of it all. We're back in Yesteryear. The accident that happened in the woods has happened, so we're officially past the synopsis, but I wanted to talk. This is why we're cleaning. I wanted to talk about some things in regards to what's currently happening. So I just finished chapter 15, and Natalie is going through this thought process of this has to be like a reality TV show. Like, someone stole her family, dumped in this new family, and is bamboozling her because she found a piece of plastic in the dirt that looked like a lapel mic. So she's like, oh, that has to be it. This has to be it. But the thing that's happened is that her first encounter with her husband, Caleb, in this new world, she's being erratic because obviously she's like, where the fuck am I? What the fuck is going on? And he gives her a nice shiner. Okay, he's like, how dare you talk to me like that, woman? She's like, well, what sort of production company would ever let this happen to a woman? Have like her husband beat her, have her get horribly injured. That can't be possible. And then she starts going through her head of like everything that America does to women. She's like, America hates women, and that brings me comfort. Because now she's starting to like put two and two together of like, no, they would let that shit happen. There would be a line that you can't cross that line, but everything, like, they're pushing the boundaries, they're pushing the limits. And now part of me is like, what if it is a reality TV show? But then another part of me is thinking, the family in Yesteryear, they are all talking to her as if like being erratic, her thinking that this life isn't her life. They're like, we've been through this before. So it makes it sound as though perhaps she is from this timeline. She lives in this fantasy world in the future. I don't know. So now part of me is like, well, what if she's actually from this Yesteryear timeline? And she's just a mentally unstable woman. Current times is so specific and so exact. I'm just like, I don't know. What's the twist? What's the twist we're looking for? Or maybe she's just asleep. Maybe Yesteryear is all a horrible dream. One thing I did want to note is that, so she met her husband Caleb at some church function, and it's slow, it's steady, do the whole courting thing. I think on their first or second date, he asked her, he's like, well, what do you want in your future? She's like, oh, I want a farm with chickens and stuff. And he's like, oh, that sounds fascinating. Now, what you need to know about Caleb is the son of a very, very affluent and wealthy family. And all of his brothers are very well-to-do. His father's a senator. Like, they are the cream of the crop. But Caleb is kind of sort of the black sheep of the family. He's kind of the one that, just gets by on the fact that he's a Nepo baby, but she doesn't know that yet. So when she kind of tells him her dreams, then she asks him, she's like, well, what do you want from life? What are your goals, your aspirations, your dreams? And he's like, yeah, I haven't really ever thought of that. And when they met, she was a freshman in college and he was a junior in college. And it isn't until they're married, they have a baby. And she's going through what I'm going to assume is like postpartum depression because she has no connection to this child. She's like, that child is a demon baby and does not like me. My daughter looked up with cold, unimpressed eyes. Caleb was right. She did look just like me. Shade on the baby, but also like shade on you? But yeah, it wasn't until then that she finally came to the acceptance of like, this is my child and this is my life now. I'm gonna make the best of it, I guess. She looks at Caleb and she's like, why don't you get a job? And I'm sitting here realizing like he latched on so hard to like her hopes and dreams and wants and needs because he just didn't have any. He was just, breezing through life without a care in the world. And he's just like, oh, you want a farm? You want a farm with a mountain range view? That actually kind of sounds kind of dope. So yes, I will take one of those, and I guess I'll take you with me, because he thinks like she's a farming woman. He's like, oh, you want a farm, so you must have those capabilities. Even though she was insufferable in her like social media influencer timeline, she's almost even more insufferable in Yesteryear because like the family, her kids, all of that, they're obviously all hardworking people who don't know what the luxuries of modern world are, and her youngest daughter is acting more of an adult than she is. Like she's acting like an impotent child, and her oldest daughter is like, get your shit together, woman. It's like, oh, you thought you were this great homesteading wife, but in reality you're just a poser. Oh, how devastating. I'm not gonna say that everything on my bed is stuff that goes on the wall, but a decent amount of it is stuff that goes on the wall. So I'm at like this impasse where I'm like, do I start cleaning the closet? Because the floors themselves at this point are clean. There's nothing on the floors anymore. I'm definitely gonna start the closet today, but I'm gonna start it in sections because it's a lot. This is what we're currently working with in the closet. It does like tuck back that way. Oh yeah. This right here holds a bunch of crafting stuff, so I really want to go through that and truly just be like, am I ever going to use this stuff? Yes or no? Get rid of it. So you can see I have some luggage. I just need to put my carry-on back into that. The main thing with this whole closet situation in general is that there's a lot of just like empty boxes. Pretty much everything that's this bin, everything in line with that bin is fine. Nothing really has to happen there. It's just all of this this right here that needs to be taken care of. I was made for loving you. Woo! Almost dropped that. Well, that would have not been fun. Nobody wants a sharp plastic edge jabbing into their foot. I haven't touched it in a couple months, but I did start making a quilt this year. There's so many just like random bits and bobs of the quilt project laying around in here. I also have another project that I want to start. I want to make a jacket with like a quilted back pattern to it, and I want to use scraps from one of my old uniforms in it. So I have to finish my quilt project before I can start my jacket project. You may be wondering why the Canadian maple leaf. My office was full of a bunch of Southerners. I'm the closest thing to a Canadian they had. I'm going to take this out to the living room, because there's also just more space to like sprawl it all out and really like focus in on what I'm trying to do. Look at my hot water bottle. Isn't she so cute? I love it so much. I don't use it often, but it's cute and cheeky when I need it. I'm about to show you the closet. It may not look very different, to be quite frank with you, but just know things were done. Ta-da! This is what we're working with as of right now. I did get rid of quite a few things in here. There were just so many craft items that truly, am I going to use these craft items within this year? Maybe, but also probably not. So I got rid of a bunch. There was a sewing machine back here that I had gotten rid of. The carry-on suitcase is now tucked away into that suitcase. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like when you first looked in here that first time, it was just like a mound of blankets. That mound of blankets is right here. We will take care of that though. But yeah, you know, it's not like the most beautiful thing, but it is definitely better than what it was. Chairs now become a storage unit. That's fine. We'll get it all taken care of. Then we just have this random pile here. So I'm making my coffee currently, and then we will be tackling all these little piles, and all of this will be done this morning because I only have like 5 more hours left of the audiobook. So we got to get that done too. I have more theories. So we just got to a part where life is tough, you know. Natalie is struggling. We're getting these backline stories of her life before she became an influencer. So meeting Caleb, marrying Caleb, realizing Caleb is just like a Nepo baby that doesn't want to do anything. She kind of hits this breaking point and she calls her mom and she's like, Mom, how did you make all this look so easy? Like just being like, doing everything. She was a single mother. She raised her daughters. She did everything and she just made it look so easy. And she's like, how'd you do it? And her mom was like, well, I just acted like I had an audience, like someone was always watching me. And now we're back in yesteryear. Natalie is watching Mary, one of the daughters, make butter. And all of a sudden she has like this internal monologue of how, she used to talk to her social media followers. And she's like, okay, y'all, we're making butter today. Da 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 da. And I'm like, oh my God, what if that advice her mother gave her was actual advice, but it was like olden day yesteryear advice? What if Natalie really did make up this whole world in her head to get through the difficult times? See what happens. Is this the first time in yesteryear where she's like feigned talking to her social media following? I think it is, which is why it just stood out to me so obviously. Because this is the first time we've had it in a while now. You're my wife, I'm your husband, we're getting shit back together. So she's going down this spiral of like, oh my God, I'm gonna to have sex with this man. And like she's spiraling because sex with modern Caleb is very half chub, if you will. Caleb's the only one she's ever been with. So she has never had, dare I say, probably never had an orgasm. My assumption. She's kind of like freaking out, being like, oh my God, I've been asking for, a strong, assertive man this whole time. And now that he's finally here, I'm kind of freaking out. And all I'm thinking, my perverted little brain is like, girl, you about to have a good time. And you're going to be like, why do I want to go back to modern day life when I got this man right here who knows how to lay it down? It's my assumption. That is my assumption. Anyways, I'm like halfway through the book. Pretty much everything that I wanted to clean is clean. Obviously, you can still see some stuff on the bed back here behind me. Those are just little bits and bobs that I do still have to take care of. Most of this, this stuff right here is all stuff that's going to get hung on the wall. You want to know my issue with predominantly reading mysteries and thrillers is that I'm always trying to figure out the plot twist. I'm always trying to figure out the aha moment. I'm always trying to find my eureka. This second half of yesteryear, I've just been like racking my brain being like, what the fuck is going on? And there was one point where I thought I had figured it out. I was like, oh shit, she got this crazy news and she's spiraling out of control. And I thought I had figured out what was going on. And then all of a sudden it was just like, life's good. We got this. It's kosher. Don't you worry. Your pretty little head. I've got it all figured out. I will say though, I've gotten used to her. So I'm like, is she still an awful, terrible human being? Absolutely. But especially in yesteryear, she's a lot more relatable. Like, I mean, just come on. Imagine yourself, a modern day human being, being dumped into the 1800s. How would you handle that? While she's still insufferable, she's also relatable. So I feel very conflicted about her. 70 pages left, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. We're getting to the point. So every other chapter so far has been, we're in yesteryear and then we're in like modern times. We're getting to the point where the timelines are about to collide with where we started the book, where she was dropped into yesteryear. So I'm intrigued to see kind of like, I think the moment that the timelines finally match up is when we're going to, or I should say when the modern timeline catches up to where we started the book. I think that's where we're going to get the shoe dropping moment of like what actually is going on here. I may not have 100% finished my cleaning tasks. I have finished yesteryear and I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it. The very end, like the very, very ending, I loved. I had a little moment. But the final part and the epilogue, I was like, okay. But it's really hard because it's all from the perspective of Natalie. And not to spoil it, her perspective is very disjointed, and I wish we had more clarity on the why, but also it makes sense that it was disjointed. I just wish we had more insight into the why. And I think we would have gotten more insight into the why if it wasn't from Natalie's perspective, but it does make sense. It makes sense. And it also, I don't know, it's hard. It's hard because now I kind of feel bad for Natalie. Let me know if you've read Yesteryear, what your thoughts, feelings, and opinions were about the ending, because I now feel conflicted. Like, I was loving having like a good character to like hate and not like, and now I just feel sad. Now I feel sad and I feel a little sorry for her. I think up until a certain point in her life, she was like a good person to dislike. And then a certain point of her in her life hits, and then it makes you wonder, it's like, what's going on? Quite literally, what's going on in the brain, you know? I'm gonna say probably like 4 stars. Here's the actual final rating on the screen here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in today's video, and I will see you in the next one.